start. Let's start this nice relaxing stream by going live. Make sure the live video is all nice and connected, only a few seconds behind. And we are live, folks. We are live. We are here with another chess stream with me, Grandmaster Max Illingworth. Says something has gone wrong with the stream, but it says that every time and it's actually completely fine. So, hello everyone, I can see you guys now. Here in this stream, I'm actually going to try to win the Crystal League on chess.com, at least in my division of 50 players. Currently, I'm in 4th place. I'm about 900 trophies behind the guy in 1st. So let's try and win it. I'm also, I think, like 200 points, 200 trophies rather, behind the player that's in 3rd place, and only the top 3 qualify for the Elite League. So in this stream, I'm just going to be playing a lot of Blitz games, unrated. This one against a 1288, as you can see. And yeah, basically going to enjoy some chess. Do say hi in the comments as well, so that I can see that you guys are here. And okay, we have an early trade of the queens, or I can actually turn it down with queen h4 if I want to. And maybe I should just taking is just the best move. Doesn't mean the game will go on a bit longer against a much lower rate player, but I'd rather be sure of winning it. So bishop g4, give a check. I can even throw in another check as well with castling. It's always fun when you can cast with check, right? You can also see I've changed the music a little bit. I've used some more relaxing music this time, just to kind of help remind me to speak, very softly and gently, so that, you're so relaxed that you fall asleep, and even when you're asleep, my view time increases substantially. Okay, that was obviously a joke, but yeah, the idea is to have some fun. Actually, knight h2 was a mistake, because he could have played rook to h1, tried to win the knight, but he just blunders a rook instead. Alright, let's play some more games. Yeah, I played quite badly in this game, but there's always more that I can do. So let's see who we get next. This guy wants a rematch, but I found a different opponent. Actually, just before this stream, I was playing through some recent Grandmaster games just to get a few ideas, to maybe try and mix it up with some slightly different openings that maybe I don't normally play otherwise. So yeah, going for a fianchetto variation against the Pirates, just very solid. Also fianchettoing, just going to stop all of their counterplay and play very solid. And bishop d7 is a little bit of a weird move. Okay, he just blundered that his rook is on if he were to play a takes b5. So playing solidly worked well because my opponent self-destructed. Always nice when they do that. Take. Maybe just pawn h3. So that I can go bishop to e3 without running into any knight to g4 moves as such. King h2. So you've got 4 viewers. Yeah, do say hi in the comments. If you do have some sort of chess question, like how do I improve, or whatever your chess question is, this is a good time to ask it before, their comment section is completely flooded. So e5, I can simply keep the tension, because if he takes me, I'm just going to take back with the knight, and he's going to be still left with that backward pawn on d6, which is also why I didn't play d takes e5, because then he would take back and he wouldn't have that isolated pawn anymore. But now he's got 2 weaknesses in his pawn structure. I could move my knight away and discover the attack on his pawn, for example. I can also try to make something happen down that a file by maybe trying to get my queen and my rooks in the attack. So knight h5, he obviously wants to go for f5. Let's just put our knight back on e2. Just defend the knight, hit this pawn. Maybe even hit his knight with a move like g4 at some point. This could be quite appealing. If he defends pawn queen c7, I'll play my knight in a d5 outpost with tempo. Now f5 is just a pawn sack, but not a very good one, I think. Bishop f5, I could even consider a move like g4 in that case, just to fork and win a piece. Or even better, have queen d5 and I win a piece without needing to weaken my king. And I can see that my opponent has just missed this. His username is Dark Energy, but it looks like the light side is going to win this time. So I will take the knight and have an easily winning advantage. As for any stories, well, there is the FIDE Grand Swiss starting today in Riga, Latvia. And basically it's a tournament that's a qualifier for the candidates where, I don't remember the exact details whether 1 player qualifies or 2 players qualify, but I think it's the top player, like the winner of the tournament, qualifies for the candidates for sure. If you're wondering, well, what is the candidates, Max? Well, the candidates is a tournament basically to determine who will be the challenger for the world champion, who at the moment is Magnus Carlsen. So that's the way it works at 8 players playing these candidates, and then the winner of that candidates tournament takes on the world champion for the title. That's the World Chess Championship cycle for you. Now, queen e4 is a very good defensive move because trading a queens makes my king a lot safer from an attack. And I also stopped queen h4 trying to get the queen into h2 like this. So bishop f4, he can do it, but the problem is he's just going to lose material. I'm going to take everything, and at the end I'm going to be able to take that rook on a8, which just gives me a massive, massive material advantage. So knight g3 is kind of a rage quit move already. Queen takes g3, just rook f3, and everything is all nice, bunched up and protected. It's always nice when all your pieces are protected, because it just means that you don't, for the most part, have to worry about any tactics, and, well, his queen was undefended, that's what made him vulnerable to the tactic. Bishop d4, with queen h8, even before he loses on time. Let's find a different opponent to play. I'm just going to try to find a different opponent each time. Keep in mind, guys, that you can challenge me on chess.com. My username is Illingworth. Just challenge me when I'm not in a game, and you will be able to play me. The stream is a little bit behind, so you might want to, in that case, like actually see if I'm still playing, and then when I finish my game, then to challenge me after that. Because I do normally see the challenges unless, you know, there's some weird chess.com glitch. So anyway, let's find another game to play. Time to taking a bit of time to actually get a game lately. Not sure why that's the case, but that might mean I may end up just playing the same players several times, or mixing up with a little bit of bullet as well, just for some, you know, some variety and to get some games in. So next mission, my plan is like basically to Catalan. Okay, I'm pre-moving too fast because I just blundered a pawn, but luckily I still get pretty good compensation because this guy's a bit weak, and you know, I can do h5, knight g4, and you know, kind of go for typical attacking moves. Okay, let me take the pawn back, which I only just saw. Queen b3, I just probably slide the rook back to a7 or a8 or something. Goes rook b1. Okay, now knight g4. Let's attack his king. So g3, I might go bishop a6, just trade off the bishop. Because it's a 1 minute game, this is why I'm not talking a great deal about my moves, but I think ideas are pretty apparent that just h4 and just attack the king, and now he just blunders the queen. That makes my life a heck of a lot easier. Let's find another game. I do want to try to play, well, I did have 1 minute seek, but ideally I want 3 minute games. The 3 minute games are what will give me the most points, because you only get a third as many points for a blitz game. So okay, this one's a blitz game. So d4, c4, very classical main line. I'm going to allow the Nimzo Indian, and I'm going to play queen c2, because I haven't played that move a lot in the past, so let's play some games with it. C takes d5. Knight takes d5, I think, is a mistake. I just play knight f3, e4, and I simply take over the center. I'm quite happy if he plays knight takes. But he has knight d4, doesn't knight take, and I have queen a4, and I win a piece at the end. That's a relief. So bishop d3, up mid castle, we move like e5, and attack his pawn on h7. This is what I'm normally doing in my blitz games lately, because a lot of my opponents are getting into these very passive positions as black due to, you know, not trying to keep a pawn in the center, which would be a very good principle for him to follow. And now I can safely take the pawn because he couldn't trap my bishop in with g6 when he already moved the f pawn to f6. That's quite an important little subtlety here, as I draw a million arrows. So okay, if he plays rook h6, I just take. I play rook to d1, and yeah, I'm just going to bring the queen into the attack. And so my goal is, like, I really want to get to 100 follows. Like, everyone who follows obviously helps me to get to that goal, but for some reason it won't let me invite more of my friends, so that means that it's going to take a lot longer than perhaps otherwise should have. So anyway, queen e4. Okay, he's just giving away all his pieces now, so this makes it very easy for me. Okay, let's find a new game. This one was pretty fast. Actually, I'll offer him a rematch because he did resign pretty quickly, so I will get a lot more points in the Crystal League if I play him over and over again and are able to beat him quickly each time. So he plays Jabava London. I go c5 very direct, and he should have played e3 to be able to take back a pawn, because now his queen gets kicked around and he clearly loses the battle for the center after this. So d4, kick the knight, maybe bishop b4 can follow if I want to. If knight e4, I can actually just take it, because then I'm hitting the queen. And you can see that he just blundered that. So now I win a piece after the exchanges. If the bishop moves, I can even just take the bishop here and just be up a piece for nothing. So I'll take. I mean, in the ending, it's not a big deal that my king is still in the center. I still have, you know, an extra piece as well, which helps a great deal here. Bishop c5, I can play rook d8. We're going to bring the other rook to d8. We could make an argument either way, but I think I will bring this rook here with a check. Maybe me king e2 of e4 or bishop g4. Instead he gives me a pawn. Oh, that's very nice of him. So we'll take, knight e5, probably just rook to e8. Because knight f7 is going to allow some nasty discovered checks on his king, and whilst king is very exposed in the center. Probably bishop f4 and bishop e6 trapping the knight was better, because now I've given him, well, a bit of an escape with knight g5, which is why I played h6 to cut him off. And I try to trap him with something like this, bishop e6. He can defend the knight with rook f1, but I can also just attack the knight again, and then the knight doesn't have a good square to move to after that. Hey, we have 5 viewers. It's great to have you on board for this stream. I mean, for me, like, if I managed to get something like 50 viewers, that would be absolute dream come true. But, you know, 5, obviously very happy with this as well. I'm going to take the pawn. It does allow him rook f1, so knight is sort of getting out, but okay, I'm still up a piece, and I can sort of keep his pieces very much tied up. Actually, I didn't play bishop f6 because I thought he had knight h6, but I can actually go bishop g5, and I could have actually won material, and yeah, now we can see he avoided it, which is a little bit of a nuisance. And yeah, what do I do about it? Maybe just bishop a3 and just accept that his knight got away. Actually, maybe his knight doesn't get away, because I could have, like, take some bishop to d6 and I'd still pin him. So yeah, even though I've kind of made a lot of mistakes in this game, actually I'm still, you know, I'm still up a piece, and he still has this problem of his knight running out of squares because of the pin here. Because if rook e4, I just play bishop f5, and I attack the rook, and I also attack the knight at the same time, as you can see just here. So rook e2, we just take, and okay, now it's just a very straightforward win, and he resigns. So I'm going to both do a rematch. I get a 2-200 play. Let's play English Opening. I noticed when I looked at my game history, I hadn't played the English Opening much before, so I've been playing it a little bit more often, just to get some more games with it, and to play it in some different ways. So I go knight c3 trying to stop him playing d5, but he can get in anyway. At a6 I'm pretty happy to see, because now my bishop has a very nice diagonal. I've got a bit of space with the pawn on c4. So this is going to be somewhat better for white at the very least. If I could get in a move like c5, that would be really great. I'm going to play bishop a3 and take advantage of the fact that A gave up his dark squared bishop prematurely, and B, his king is still in the center. So I'm going to take with the queen, and that's so I can try to keep the position a bit more open. And keep that pressure against the pawn on d5, because now my rook's coming in, my bishops have wide open diagonals. Unfortunately, if you're not able to get your king out of center, as I accidentally misclicked something, well, if you're not able to get the king out of the center, then you're just going to lose, basically. So, I mean, I'll just play rook to d1, rook to b1, and you know, rook on h8 in the game, the king is very exposed. So yeah, rook d1, you can go bishop d7, but I can also play moves like bishop to d6, for example, and attack the rook. He goes knight d5, which just loses a piece. Actually, it doesn't lose a piece technically because he has queen to c7, but it's still quite bad for him. I mean, even just queen to d4 looks very strong here. Going for knight f6, bishop d6. If the knight moves some other square like c3, I can go queen g7, and okay, now I just win a full rook, and the game is effectively over at this point. So anyway, also, you can let me know, like, I have noticed, like, on the previous stream, I did 5 viewers, but we had no comments, and I was like, come on, like, say something, just so it's not me talking the whole time. Like, even if just saying hello, I mean, you can, you're welcome to do it. Okay, let's play c4 again. I notice a lot of players at this lower level like to play quick d5, which actually makes English a really good system. Okay, let's play a Mykonos system. That's the name of it when you play e4 in this particular position, with the idea of attacking a knight. And I find this is an incredibly effective system at the amateur level, because yeah, a lot of them will play these passive moves like d6 and just let you take over the whole center completely for free, which is obviously very nice for white. And I mean, if you play a move like c5, yeah, I mean, knight c6, I'm even tempted to go d5 and just kick the knight and grab a whole lot of space with tempo. This is again why it's really important to put a pawn in the center in the opening for the most part, if not immediately, at least like relatively quickly, because otherwise white will just take the whole center and white will just be a lot better. So he goes c5, let's just keep the tension and say that if he takes on d5, I take back with the pawn, and well, his knights are just very passive. You can see that they're really dominated by my pawns. And with bishop d2, I'm just preparing to play some discovery with the bishop at some point. And now I'm playing e5 because his king is still in the center. So when those pawns get traded, the opening of the position is very much favorable for white. So knight g4 is what I'm expecting, to try to attack my pawn on e5. To which I might just play d6 and kick his bishop to a bad square and then defend it with queen e2. That will allow me to retain a certain modicum of control over the position. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he's calculating because yeah, okay, knight g8 is even worse because now his knight only has the h6 square to go to, but then I can simply take. So I want to open up the position, so maybe I go knight to... I'm thinking knight e4 at this point. Hitting the queen, kind of forcing queen b6, and okay, just blunders the queen instead. And now it's pretty straightforward. So, okay, let's play... Okay, I've got this 2-200 again, so a somewhat more close game than the previous one. Go c5, might play modern Benoni. Because I played the Benko so much in the past, I'm trying to mix it up and play some slightly different systems. I've never played Snake Benoni before with bishop d6, so let's do it for the stream. Play something a little bit unusual and a little bit fun. So bishop c7. And it's kind of the idea of the snake that instead of the bishop being on g7, you go to c7 and kind of the bishop is sort of out of the way of the other pieces. Obviously, it's not a very good opening. White is still better, but maybe not in this position anymore because he's played very passively with this move pawn e3, which is not really the sort of the idea. I'm tempted to go bishop a5 actually, because that's all money as a snake that you can try to hit this knight and try to get some pressure that way. And then also it can help you prepare b5 in some positions. Well, I go bishop g4. He kind of wants to go knight e2, knight c4 anyway, so I don't think I want to encourage him in that regard. Let's go queen e7, attack the bishop first, and then play the move b5. And I mean, my knight on f8 does a good job of defending the pawn on f7. And these exchanges just help because I have less space in this position than my opponent does. So the trade of the minor pieces just makes it easier for me to put my piece on good squares. Actually, I might take with the knight if he plays bishop d7 so that I'm covering the e4 move. Because the plan for white is to go e4 and e5 and try to use his central space in his favor. But he's not really going for that at the moment. Okay, let's put the bishop on b4. That's a nice little outpost for the piece. Rook a1, we just swap. Maybe I'm thinking of taking again on f5, even though it activates his queen, because, well, I can try to go queen b7 maybe, and go queen a8 and try to take over the queen side. That's my thinking at the moment, and if queen g5, my idea is just knight g6 and just defend the king side like this. Okay, knight h4, he's trying to attack me. I mean, is he even really threatening anything at this point? If I just play like rook a8, for example. I'm not sure he is, so I'm going to play it. It looks kind of risky to allow knight f5, but on the other hand, he also has a bit of a weak back rank. I'm threatening queen a2, for example. So I'm going to take back with this pawn, making sure my king stays protected. Queen e7 is the main move I'm nervous about, but I think I'm in time with queen a2 and exploiting his weak back rank. So for that reason, he should probably play... The problem is if he plays a move like h3, I still have queen a2 anyway, and I can still go after this bishop, which doesn't really have a good square at the moment. So he's really in a little bit of trouble, I think, at this point. So let's see, I think in this position, yeah, I should probably... well, what should he do? And he should probably go e4 and meet queen a1. Actually, I just realized I'm not even threatening queen a1 too this whole time, because he has a perpetual queen d8, queen h4, which is just super annoying. Because obviously, you know, I'm playing to try to win this, so... In that case, I might have to swallow my pride and play maybe bishop a5. It looks so weird to play bishop a5 because it's a retreating move, but I want to go bishop d8 and then play queen a2 is the idea of this, because I realize my bishop just doesn't do anything on b4. Actually, I just realized I probably should have played c4 instead. That would have been a lot better. Now he's going to annoy me with the queen. Oh, unless I can just take it. Did he just blunder a pawn? I think he just blundered a pawn here. Queen e8. I go king h7. My pawn is defended. queen f8, I go f6, and it's still defended. Okay, he gets the pawn back, but now I can maybe put the bishop back again. I can choose between these two moves. And I think I want, oh, maybe even bishop e1. That's kind of interesting to try to threaten this pawn, actually. So let's do that. He should probably play... I was thinking queen c4, but then I have queen f3, and I can be a little bit annoying with the bishop. He probably go queen c2 or queen f1, and then I probably just bring the bishop back. Oh, I'm an idiot. He could have forced a draw, but thankfully he did not see that. But he can force a draw again with queen h3 again. It's crazy. He didn't see the forced draw twice now. The fact I missed it twice is obviously like a lot more sad. Just, yeah, playing very badly, but fortunately I'm still going to probably win it. Because I'm up a pawn and he's way down on the clock here. So I'll play queen f1. Let's gain a little bit of time with... Oh, I missed f5 winning the queen. Okay, maybe he'll fall for it a second time. No, he doesn't. Man, I'm just missing everything today. It's really unfortunate. Oh, I just allowed a draw. Oh my god, I'm playing so stupid today. Wow, like I just missed a million things this game. Really mad at myself. I don't know how it's possible to play so stupid chess. But okay, 2-200, chance for redemption. Maybe I'll stick to it some more familiar opening. Man, I can't believe I had a free-fold repetition. Like, how idiotic you have to be to allow that. Okay, let's play a little different. I don't normally play c3. I normally go knight bd2 because queen b6 is kind of annoying. But I want to play this queen c2 move. I set this trap at bishop f5, dc5. And after c4, I'm just a full tempo ahead of the normal lines. Which actually makes a very big difference because I can just go e4 and take over the center. Or even go b3 and just trade this pawn. Because normally you get this position with black to play if you go queen b3, c4, queen c2. That's the old main line. So obviously, yeah, he's really misplayed it. Actually, it goes to like the last name ends in the username ends in A. I'm always tempted to think if it's a female player, but probably not. So bishop d3. If he goes rook c8, I might just go queen b2 and just get out of any knight to b4 that way. Just like this. And my plans will be moves like knight e5 or b4, knight b3, knight to c5. And either way, I'm pretty sure I have a very nice advantage here. I could have flicked in h3 first. Maybe that was a little more precise, but I don't think it overly matters here. London's one of these openings where it's very easy to play the plans as white because you have this very familiar structure. So here I'm going to take with this knight. Normally you would want to keep that strong knight, but the point is that I get the bishop pair advantage and I can also play for knight c5. Actually, by pushing e4 and opening a position for the bishops might have been even better. Because now we could maybe play a move like knight h5 and try to trade off my bishop pair. I can improve my structure a little bit, but it's still, I mean, it's probably what he should do. So knight e4 is what he does instead. I mean, he wants to stop knight c5, evidently. But what if I just play f3 and kick the knight? Maybe he wants to go to d6, so I might play... I'm also tempted just to take it. And I think I'm going to take it because in this position now his pawn structure is very inflexible on the king side, and on the queen side I just have, I have all my pawns still in one island, which is very nice. So he goes bishop c5. I obviously take the d pawn because the b pawn was pinned. And now, I mean, I just have very nice strategic pressure. I think he has to put the queen on f6 or h4. And now even a move like b5 is just very effective. Actually, I should have gone bishop d6 first. Because now after knight e7, he can at least meet takes with takes. But luckily for me, the tactics all still work out, I think. Because I can go rook a7. And if he were to take c3, I'd be able to take on e7 and overload that queen at the end of this line. So luckily for me, it still works out. Oh, he has e5. Can he do this? I mean, do I have rook d6 maybe? Perhaps I can throw in an intermezzo like that. Yeah, I'll throw in rook d6 because, well, it forces queen to f5 because queen a3 just take his pawn. So queen to f5. Well, then I'd probably just play bishop to g3. Just keep the control. With rook b7, I'm hitting his knight as well, which is definitely quite important here. So rook to b7, attacking the knight. Knight d5, he's trying to attack this pawn. So let's play rook to c6 and simply defend it with a little x-ray. I do have to be careful about the back rank, but I'm just going to play h3 when I get a breath, and then it will be fine. Then my king will be very much safe. Yeah, rook c8 is a very good move by him. Kind of, in a way, getting this c3 pawn back, unless I have some very nice trick here. Like, maybe I can take... Maybe I can try to queen my pawn, actually. So, maybe play a move like rook b8 just to force the king to a somewhat inferior square. play h3, just anticipating the counterplay on my king, and then I'm free to push my b pawn and make it a queen, because that is a passed pawn and his piece are not in the best of positions to deal with that right now. So now I see why h3 is so useful. So I didn't play h3, I think knight d2 and rook c1 would actually be winning, but now I can just take the knight because I have h2 for the king. I'm sort of expecting he might try and move like knight to a4 at this point, maybe. And after knight a4, you know, I can just play even queen a1 would be an interesting idea. Just attacking that knight and using the fact that black's coronation is not so great. Because if you defense knight with queen d7, I would just play bishop e5, but now he sacks the knight for a pawn, and yeah, he has one pawn for the piece, which is nowhere near enough. Let's find another opponent to play. Okay, I'm playing d4 a lot in these games for some reason. Okay, c4, we get some classical queen's gambit declined. Might go bishop g5 here. Bishop b4, let's just play classically e3. Yeah, bishop c3 is a mistake. It just helps me improve my structure. So cd5, ed5, bishop b3, knight e2 castle is just very standard in these kind of positions. I could also play c4 and just, you know, keep trade off his one pawn here, but okay, I'm starting to play a little more solidly. So knight f8, bishop h4 just to anticipate knight to e6, but also prepare a move like bishop g3 to hit his queen in this case, which is quite a useful idea. Now, my original idea was to prepare f3 and e4, but it seems a little bit difficult to actually get it in at this point. Okay, just blundered a pawn. Thank you very much. Knight e4. I mean, now I could actually go f3 if I want to, but maybe knight d6 is a bit annoying. I mean, it's sort of an interesting transformation. I give up the bishop pair, but I get an e4 break, which I think is a pretty good trade in this case. So I will take, because you're going to take one of these guys at a time, and now e4 just comes. And you can see I just have a very large and beautiful center. It's probably called the dream center when you can get the pawns on e4 and d4 like this. In that case, you're usually going to be better if you can keep those pawns without making any sort of concession in the meantime. I mean, there are openings like the Grunfeld where they let you get this structure and you get this like big piece pressure, but obviously it's not the case here. So h3, we just put the question to the bishop. That's often a good reply when they pin your knight, just kick it with h3. I can play a move like e5, attacking the queen. Because I realize if he goes like queen a3 and tries to win the pawn, I have... At least I thought I had bishop h7, but maybe I don't. I might have just blundered this. But okay, maybe I can still keep control with a move like bishop to c4, which allows me to counter-attack here, and if he defends, I'm in time, I think, to play rook f3 and keep my pawn safe. Okay, so he goes for this, but obviously he blundered bishop f7 and bishop takes e8. If he had seen his fork on the rook, he would not have gone for this. Let's just play rook a1, just make sure that all of our pieces are developed at this point. That will make it much easier to continue with an attack later. I'm hitting this pawn and also defending my pawn on d4 here. I can also prepare a move like d5 at a good moment, which actually I could have played immediately, but I was a bit nervous he might have some tricks with knight d4 that I just didn't want to allow. I'm up a lot of material, so just about keeping control in such positions, not letting them crawl their way back into the game. So I expected his best move is probably something like h6 and, you know, try to make some luft for the king. Because there are a lot of lines where he can try to win the pawns, but if he does, he will get back rank mate at the end if he doesn't make that luft. So there are so many German words in chess, like not just luft, but also Zugzwang and also other things as well that are not coming to my mind right now. Actually, it reminds me, like in 2007, I remember there was this word I learned in a new chess yearbook called Königspringer zur Koltonspolitik, and it stands for the delayed development of the king's knight. But yeah, it was like just kind of some random trivia. It's not all that useful. Okay, I see his player is also in Vietnam. That's cool. Maybe I'll go c5 just for a little bit of variety. Because I notice that often players around this level are not very good at dealing with these moves like an early c5. They just don't know how to deal with the attack, and what we see is playing kind of passively and just allowing me to get my dream set up to get the bishop outside the pawn chain, go e6 and just develop from there basically. He's even just letting me get this diagonal very easily when he doesn't put the bishop on f4. So I'll play bishop to d6, have a nice relaxed stream here. Let's see. It's funny, I'm not checking the comments much because no one's commenting, but I do check it every now and then just in case someone, decides to speak up and say, Max, I have something that's been on my chest for a very long time, and I absolutely have to say it right now. I couldn't hold it in any longer. So knight to e4. Maybe it's also the music, like, it's so relaxing that it just, like, puts your brain to sleep and just, you know, you forget the ability to speak as a result of the relaxing music. I don't know, sometimes it happens to me, I'm just like, okay, I'm forgetting to speak, I should say something now. So this kind of knows a minority attack where I'm just playing to weaken him. Actually, A4 was very stupid, now he just, yeah, goes C4. I should have just stopped him doing this. Because once he gets in C4, his position kind of makes sense. Okay, I'm just going to keep the tension. If he plays C5, I will just retreat the bishop, and okay, he's going for this, but okay, even with me kind of playing the middle game quite badly, I'm still better because he's got a bad bishop and I can, you know, use the great activity of my pieces. Now, queen a1, maybe I just play rook c8, just fight for the file. I was also thinking about queen b5 and try and get a knight in a d3. Maybe I can do it now, knight d3, attack the rook. And if rook c2, maybe bishop b4 and just pile the pressure on that pinned knight. I'm not sure I'm actually winning it, but it definitely puts him on the defensive. And he tries to, I think, play bishop d2 to defend it. And now it feels like there should be something extremely good for black. But I don't see, maybe... I'm thinking maybe queen f5 at this moment. Trying to kick the knight away so I can try to take without him being able to take back with the knight. Because if I play knight d2 immediately, you would have knight d2 and this knight would stay alive. But now it feels like I'm going to have some sort of tactic. Like I can take... And yeah, I can play the move knight to f4 and simply win the rook with a discovered attack. And, well, like I even pick up one of these knights afterwards because he can't defend both of them successfully. I just take. Actually, I'm allowing rook d1, but luckily for me, this bishop is still protected. e7 was covered by the bishop, and so I'm just up a rook. Let's go bishop d6, just attack. I'd be a little bit careful he doesn't try some knight f5 and some d5, but since I can meet this with queen g4, or in this case I can just fork the king and knight, so it's not a problem. And he resigns. Let's find a new opponent. I really lost count. Oh wow, I didn't make any mistakes or blunders, but I think I made a lot of inaccuracies in the middle game there. Okay, it's taking a while to get my next 1 minute game. This guy wants to play on 1 minute, but I can't tell if it's rated or unrated. I get his 2-200 opponent. Let's play Scandinavian. Been playing the Scandinavian in some games recently. It's sort of weird, like the Scandinavian's one of these openings when I play it, I almost always seem to get a good position out of the opening, but then I almost always seem to screw up the middle game afterwards against high-rated players. And I just have no idea why, like maybe I just don't understand the positions at all, it's hard to say. It's kind of weird, because I did actually create a course on the Scandinavian called Play the Strongest Scandinavian, which actually you click on the last link in the description, you can see it. But yeah, it's still an opening, it's somehow like, even though I know it like the theory very well and so understand the general ideas, just somehow I get this winning position and just seem to completely choke when I get the opening almost every time against high-rated players. And I still haven't figured out why. Okay, so d5 I can now play just takes. And I have a nice little trick in this position with knight takes e5. He can't take me because I have the move rook takes d1 checkmate. So knight d2, let's just swap. And yeah, I mean, this position is kind of a little bit sort of dull. I mean, it's one where you kind of have to be very patient to get winning chances against a decent player because it's just completely symmetrical in terms of the pawns. So now I think I might put an knight on e7, try to at least unbalance the piece placement a bit. I mean, knight g5 would be kind of annoying here, but I'm sort of gambling that he doesn't see it. And maybe I can try going knight f5 and at least trade off the bishop, get some bishop versus knight imbalance. So yeah, not a whole lot really happening in this kind of position. In fact, yeah, after g4, this actually is something I'm kind of happy to see. Because, well, if he traded, his pawns would get split, but now he's given me this hole on f4, which at least gives me something to play for at this point. Whereas earlier it was just like completely locked down. So he's going bishop d4, I think just f6, just simply defend, block this way. I can still go knight f4 at some point, just take the outpost and I don't even have to worry about, you know, some tactics like rook d6 he could have done if he had kept the bishop on e3. So this is the reason why the way he played it is not the best, I think. So g5, I mean, I'm even considering a move like fg5 just for the sake of unbalancing the structure, but what if he goes bishop g7 in that case? And I go rook g8, bishop f6, rook f8, bishop g5, knight e6, and I win a piece, so I think it is safe for me to take it. Of course, he could just play knight g5, which is probably the better move, but I wanted to first make sure that the tactics were working in my favour. Because in this case, I mean, he's just got these isolated pawns. So now I do have very genuine winning chances as black. He can't really take a7, by the way, because I just go b6, trap the bishop, and then win it from there. So he goes knight to e4. I'm going to play knight e6, and that is so I can take back and not lose the pawn on g7. Damn it, for some reason I get hungry when I start these streams, or maybe because I was hungry before and didn't notice, but yeah, it's one thing I kind of sort of would be really cool if I could just like have this like food dispenser, like just have the food ready and just pull it out whenever I want. So anyway, let's play g6. So I'm going to put my pawns, actually I should have put my king out first, but my plan is basically to put my pawns all on the white squares, and in doing that I'm going to make his bishop very kind of useless. So c4 I feel like is a move I'm happy to see. You know, I can attack this pawn. I'm going to just try to maneuver my knight to f5, because from f5 I'll be able to attack the pawn on h4 as well. So that's the game plan at the moment. King to e6. King e4, I might just play a6, just play a little waiting move. But yeah, at the moment his bishop is kind of stopping my knight getting to any of the really great squares. I could consider knight d6, but I wonder if that ending is just a draw, because his king is more active. I'm winning that. So maybe I just have to try to keep maneuvering, maybe try to bring my knight to e6, give it some potential to go g7. But yeah, bishop g5, just not letting my knight get out. So do I have to play king d7 then? I mean, king d7 is such an ugly looking move to help his king, to try to help his king get more active, but I mean, what do I do here? I guess what I can really do is kind of shuffle with the king and hope for the best. I mean, basically it's going for the dirty flag. Okay, my patience is maybe rewarded a little bit, because now my knight does get to f5. So helps his king get a lot more active, which is really not good. I mean, this might just be technically winning, because I'm trying too hard to win a drawn position, because now I'm basically... So, yeah, now what do I do? Maybe just a5, at least try to fix these pawns, and, you know, it does give me the option to take, but then I can take him back, is my idea. So I go king e8, just hit him like this, and yeah, now I get this transformation that, even though normally having passed pawns for both sides is good for the bishop, here it's good for the knight, because I'm the only one with a passed pawn, and actually I'm just winning his bishop on the next move if I want to. I could also play a move like knight d2 and just collect here, but I'm going to win the bishop because his king is out of position. He can't trade off all of my remaining pawns here. So I can just play, you know, some move like takes, play king to c7. I do have to be a little bit careful. I don't want to allow him to force the trade of the pawns. But yeah, now my knight comes back in time and it just wins. You can see his king isn't able to get back and he resigns. But yeah, this one, like, I was very close to letting him just get a draw, which was, yeah, not really ideal. I mean, you don't want to draw a black against player like 600 points below you in general. So e4, let's go f4. Let's just, you know, play fun king's gambit, knight f3. Play the move h4, because I haven't played that a lot. I more often play like knight c3 in the past, I think. But h4, yeah, I mean, this is really nice. Now I can just play a little combination, get the queen h5, and my pieces just flood into the attack with tempo. So the point is that at the right moment, I'm going to have a move like queen e5, and I'll be able to fork the king and the rook. He plays knight f6 to try to avoid that, but now e5, and I get my piece back, and I have a very strong attack to boot. And I feel like it's almost got to be forced mate somehow, but I don't see how, so I'm just going to take the material and run. Queen takes h8. I can go for some bishop h5 and try to mate him like this, for example, but instead he just resigns. Let's see if he wants to play again, but I'm also going to do a new seek. Okay, so I rematch this guy. Okay, let's play g6, play a modern for a little variety. Bishop to g7. Might play move c... I always, when I want to play c1, I always go c... You know, when I want to play c6, I would always go c4 for some reason. Don't know why, maybe just coincidence, but anyway, let's attack his pawn on d4. This is a little bit of a weakness. I could also have gone c6 if I want to, but yeah, I decided to play a little more directly. You know, I take and I give up my good bishop, but I get my knight to the nice d4 outpost, which I think is a fair trade here. Go c5, just anchor that knight in place, and from there my plans can be even, well, if he'd kept the structure, I would have just gone f5, but now I've got that open b file for my rook, and maybe I just put my knight on e7 and castle, just play very, very solidly, because his bishop pair don't really do that much if he can't open the position in some way. And now he's giving me a chance just to take and mess up his pawns, and I do think that I'm going to take that opportunity. The one thing is that my pawn d6 could be a little bit weak if he gangs up on it, but now, I mean, I just defend with the knight. That's why I shouldn't have played ef5. Now I can also play moves like queen h4 or even knight to h4 and just attack those double pawns. This is why I don't really want to allow double pawns around your king voluntarily unless you're really getting something good for it, which is not the case here for white. So e4, activate the rook, start pushing that center forward. And I mean, yeah, he's giving up the exchange. I think this is probably a blunder. They just didn't see the long-range bishop. And yeah, he resigns. Let's see if he wants to play another time. Because I'm playing a lot because that's going to allow me to get points a lot more quickly on the Crystal League. And, you know, the sooner I'm like at that top 3 level where I can't be caught, then the sooner I could potentially, you know, maybe play some rated or do some puzzles or whatever. So, okay, let's just play d4. And yeah, this is a very nice system for white where you just very easily play like bishop e2, castle, c4, knight c3 against Scandinavian. And if black doesn't play it very precisely, you just get a big advantage. That's why I've been playing a lot of knight f3 lately, because previously I've been playing a lot of free knight c3, which is the main line, and, you know, at a Grandmaster level is probably the better move. But at an amateur level, I think free knight f3 is even more effective, because it's so systematic, and if they make one little slip, you're just a lot better out of the opening. I mean, like, I almost could trap the queen, but knight h4 still has h5 available. So I'm going to play d5, and I'm just going to push in the center instead. And knight b4, I just go queen a4, and I just win the knight with the fork. This is a trap that catches out a lot of players, like, below 1600 level. So he resigns, let's play him again. You can see, like, I'm getting, like, the full, like, 9 points, you know, from the trophy for Blitz in, like, less than a minute in this case. So I'm going to play him a bunch of times, and, you know, I think that most of you are watching the stream, like, probably, you know, well, it's not so many, so probably just stretch of generalization. I know, like, for the really large streams, most people watching are actually, like, not very, let's say, high-rated players, like people, let's say, 1400 and below. So in that sense, like, kind of seeing how to beat the 1100 over and over again, you know, actually can be somewhat instructive for these players, because we don't, you know, get to see a GM playing against, you know, these sort of players, as it were. Like, normally just doesn't happen. But, you know, because I'm generous, well, we see it here. So knight f3, I can even play bishop g4. And the reason I want to play bishop to g4 is that you just want to trade off their good knight, so that you get a good knight versus bad bishop position, like we see here. Actually, rook a8 was even better to attack the pawn, but you can see that my knight just completely dominates his bishop. And, well, I was actually thinking of doing a video on this sort of position at some point for YouTube. It could be a fun idea, like, to show I think it's a Smyslov Bondarevsky game, if I remember correctly. That's kind of the model that most people know about. So queen d2, I can just go h5, just kick his bishop. I mean, if he goes bishop d2, I have the option to take it and win a pawn, so he goes bishop to d1. I might just play c6, just keep it very solid. Yeah, I thought he would play f4, but now I can bring the knight around this way and start attacking some of his weaknesses. And I want to actually keep that knight alive, and so therefore I'm going to take the pawn, but I'm going to do it while keeping my knight on the board if possible. So now, I mean, it's an interesting decision, because if I take, it does free his pieces a little bit. So it does make me wonder, should I actually take, or should I just leave it? I'm thinking I'm actually going to leave it, and if he plays g3... Yeah, g3 is actually a problem, because after knight d3, he could have maybe gone this, but... Okay, my patience is somewhat rewarded in the game, because now I can even maybe go c4 and just use the pin on the queen to my advantage. Or if he does go g3 take, and then c4 will anchor, then I want a very nice outpost. Yeah, unfortunately I completely blundered. He can do queen a5, but luckily I am f***ing mates, so he should go rook d2 and stop that. And actually, yeah, in that case, just managed to trade off the pawns, which definitely helps his defense. Fortunately for me, he missed the mate, meaning the game ended rather quickly. Let's see if he would like to play another time. Turns out he does. Play English opening against him. I think I did this last time as well. I already forgot. But okay, I've been playing a lot of this c4, g3 of late, just to get some more games of it. Just trying to play like a lot of different opening systems in games, just for a bit of variety, to keep it a bit more interesting. And yeah, b6 just blunders the rook, so that's easy. And yeah, that was a very quick game. Okay, let's keep playing like sort of... I know, like, gaming, they call this, like, farming, where you, like, play the same opponent over and over to get points. And that's kind of what I'm doing here, at least if he wants to play me, but maybe he doesn't want to play anymore. He got sick of losing, so let's find another player. Oh, I accidentally slammed that cup really hard. Okay, knight f3, let's change the move orders up a little bit, go for some b3. Nimzo last an attack, the way that Nakamura likes to play it. I'm going to go e3 so that you can meet f6 with d4 and basically keep a pawn in the center. I'm going to go c4, play a little more creatively this time. Yeah, knight c6 is not a good idea because now I just gain a tempo kicking the queen, and it's an interesting question how I should exploit that. I like bishop e2 just to potentially have some discoveries against the queen at some point. And, you know, if he goes bishop g4, I can play h3 and just put the question to the bishop at a good moment. Yeah, queen g6, you can see he's losing a lot of time moving the queen, and, you know, bishop h3 I can even play... I was thinking knight h4, but probably knight e1 is more solid in reality. Obviously, I don't want to go g3 because then you would lose the exchange. So, anyway, he probably goes bishop a3 because otherwise his move doesn't really make sense. But knight e1, I keep it nice and safe. In the worst case, I can play a move like king to h1, and by breaking the pin, I force his bishop back. I always have that available. Actually, I could even... Yeah, I was threatening bishop h5 and f4, so this was kind of smart by him. Let's go bishop a3. Play in a more hyper-modern style, trying to, you know, attack and win this weak pawn. Because if he plays b6, then b6 itself becomes a bit of a weakness. So I'm pretty happy with my position at the moment. It looks kind of weird, but his pieces are kind of more weirdly placed in a sense. So in this case, yeah, still waiting for the first comment. I mean, I think that... I mean, that would be like a fun little game, like, you know, do something like, say, oh, I bet that there's going to be, like, no comments on the whole stream and then something like this. But the thing is, if you bet like then there's sort of money intel, so then someone like will comment like, great, now where's my $5 as such. I mean, I could do it for fun, but yeah, this, I guess is how we roll. Bishop d6. I have to be a little bit careful, actually, because he could try something like queen h6 at some point. It doesn't work now because I take and go knight f3, but... Or does it, actually? He could have gone knight g4, and that wouldn't have been so simple. So maybe now I play knight a4, and I meet queen h6 with f4 and cut him off like that. And if he goes g5, well, I can go bishop c5 and at least try and trade off his bishop. I think that's going to be a good plan here. So let's see what he does. I mean, he could go knight e4, actually, and threaten knight g3. In that case, maybe my best bet is just to bring the king back, but it does buy him a little bit of time to try and, you know, create some swindling chances here. So if you're wondering how long the stream is, like, I have it set for 11. Like, I do want to try to make it a bit of a longer stream, but I'm also, like, going to be really hungry. So what I'll do is I'll probably just take a short break at 11 and then come back and do, like, another stream after that. That's the plan at this stage. Now, expecting me to try and keep the bishop, but now knight b6 looks really good. Okay, so he's sacking the rook. I don't really believe that this should be sound, because I think I have knight f3, but I do have to be a little bit careful here. Because he could go knight g4 and try to create some chances, but okay, he just blundered it. I am defending this with the knight. So knight g4 is continuing the attack, but I have h3 and I'm... Can he go... No, he doesn't have knight e3 because I have bishop takes. And I'm hitting his queen, so he doesn't get time to go bishop h3 and rip open my king. Although even if he did, I'm not sure if that's actually mating, but okay, now he's just rage quitting. Okay, if I just play king g1, just play solidly, I don't really see his attack gaining much steam in reality. Although still, yeah, I mean, it is blitz. I have to be a little bit cautious of this. But if I play like rook c4, for example, I think this is okay. I just bring my rook over and lift my rook actually as a defensive method. Because normally when you see a rook lift, it's not in order to attack, but here it's in order to defend. And because I'm up so much material already, I already lost count of how much material I'm ahead. I don't really mind giving back some of the material like this because I'm still way ahead. I do have to be a bit careful of rook h4. I mean... Even though the attack is not sound, it is still a bit dangerous, so I want to defend it correctly. So how do I deal with this rook h4 idea? Maybe I should just move the bishop, because that's going to make a little bit of an escape hatch for my king in that case. And if he goes b5, maybe I just retreat the bishop then. He could go knight e5. Knight e5 is a little tricky. I think I can safely take, but I'm not 100% sure. But I have a little time to think about it. Because queen h2 I go here, and my king gets away, I believe. But what about rook h4? That's what I'm nervous about. But I have knight c7. I think that my attack is faster than his. Yeah, he missed knight c7. And I'm going to be able to play knight f7 and take his queen with, basically, with a check. I do everything with a check. So he doesn't get time to play rook h1 mate on me. I'd still have king f1, but that would sort of let him back into it a bit. I don't know why I offered a rematch. Maybe it's because I like just subconsciously want to play some high-rated players. Okay, I get an 1857 guy. Oh, I'm playing white. Oh, I forgot for a second that white moved first here. So playing Nimzo Larsen, because, you know, Nimzo Larsen is a fun opening. I normally play with e3, bishop b5, but lately I've been playing some c4 and some knight f3, the way that Bent Larsen played it. In a game he very famously lost against Boris Spassky. Because I had that game when he went e4, bishop c5, but now I go d4 and, you know, I just get very nice play. As when you get that diagonal open for the bishop, that's usually a good sign. I've had this position arise quite a lot in my games lately via different move orders, because how a lot of club players are going to play it against you if you play one b3. And the plan that I usually do that works really well is just to go knight c3, castle long, and just charge the g-pawn middle game, just attack the king when they castle short. It's a plan that just seems to be very effective in blitz. I might go f3 and modify the plan a bit, because now e4 comes with a tempo, and it just kind of fixes that pawn as a weakness, as a backward pawn on d6. So he retreats the bishop. Oh, let's have something wacky like bishop e4, but that doesn't look any good. Just knight c3, and the thing with castling long with the pawn c4 is it does sort of ask for a6 and b5. So you know what, I'm going to do it a bit differently to usual. I'm just going to castle short and nurse my long-term positional advantage. So, okay, he's giving me knight d5, giving me a nice outpost for the knight. Because his idea was to try to go bishop f6, but now I can take and win the bishop pair and still pile against the weak pawn on d6. So, okay, he's taking. I take with the queen so that I keep that pressure on this pawn. Bishop f6 would probably be a good move for him at this point. Actually, queen a5 as well is an idea, but I guess I can always trade off the queens in the worst case. Or even just play king f2 and say that, you know, my king is quite safe on that square. Because he doesn't have an easy way to open it up. You know, b5 is really well covered by my bishop and pawn. f5 is really well covered by my pawn and queen, and he can't even do it legally because of the pin on the pawn to the king here. So okay, queen takes. Let's continue with. Man, I'm so hungry right now. Like I'm just like dying for some hot food. Like I mean some. Well, actually, you know what? Really nice would be some dessert. Like it's been. Well, actually, I did have like some of that like layer custard cake in like earlier in the day. Like I haven't eaten it for so long, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have it this time just because I was offered it as such. So anyway, my plan is maybe f4, maybe bring my rook over and attack. I'm considering whether to change the track as well, like just to maybe a bit more sort of interesting like that. So sort of weird, like my posts on Facebook getting like more like interaction in my stream. It's kind of funny how that sort of works. Yeah, let's go for a slightly different one. Let's go for this song. If you've been in the stream before, you'll recognize the song already, but if not, then well, it'll be a nice fun one just for a little variety. It's a knight d7. Let's go g4, go g5. Okay, bishop f6, let's retreat. I don't know if I should retreat because he goes bishop d4 and I kind of have to trade the bishops anyway. But, you know, my idea is that, well, if I could keep the bishops, it would be nice. Now I have to be a little bit careful because my pawn is a little bit weak and he could actually play move f5, which would be very annoying because I actually can't take on passant anymore. Hopefully he does not see that. But even if he does have bishop f3, and I'm probably still doing well. I'm pretty happy with this exchange because it just, well, it means I can now have an open file to his king already and it just increases my space advantage. This guy's like playing quite reasonably for the most part. He hasn't made any big tactical mistakes. I don't know if I should have taken, I mean, I want to avoid knight d4, but I think allowing this might actually be worse. I mean, he gets pressure here and actually queen c6 just wins a pawn. Luckily for me, he didn't see the move. Yeah, I didn't play this game very well at all. Like, I tried too hard to keep control of everything and didn't really attack him at all. And then when I did try to attack, it was not really very well timed. Fortunately, because he played too slow, I am going to flag him anyway. So b5, just f5, just attack. Rook d2 to hit this guy. So we have an exchange of the pawns. King g2. I can go like queen d5 or something. And yeah, he flags at this point. But yeah, this game I didn't play it too good. So okay, let's try and get to at least the top 4 on the leaderboard, or top 3 on the leaderboard. That is for the Crystal League. Might play, okay, here's bishop b5. Let's go bishop d7. And I'm going to play knight d7 because I had a game with this like some days ago. I was like feeling completely drunk. Where I played like an idiot and just lost. So let's try and redeem ourselves a bit. Why did I play e6? You can still go c4. But okay, at least in this version he is sort of committed to rook e1, which might not be the most useful way to play it, and I still get my solid sort of hippo setup, I guess. So rook c8, a6, preparing b5. He'll go bishop b2 to cover that, and I can even play like queen a5 or queen c7, depending on how I'm feeling. Might go queen a5, gets a little bit more active looking. I can play like rook e8, bishop f8, and I mean, white is a little bit better here, but I don't have any real weaknesses, and I can sort of shuffle around a bit. So it's solid enough. Because even this player's one main weakness is that he sort of plays a little bit too slow. So perhaps I can use that to my advantage just with this very strategic kind of game. Man, it's such a relaxing track. So after bishop f8, I might even go like h5, h4 and maybe try to loosen his king side a bit. That's an idea that you sometimes see quite a lot in these hedgehog type structures. I mean, normally the hedgehog you associate with like b6, bishop, b7, but obviously the difference is that the light squared bishops were traded here. So he's going rook e3, he's trying to attack me. Well, I can play bishop f8 and meet rook g3 with g6, and that nullifies the attack down the g file. So that's all well and good. So he's going f4. I could even consider e5 actually. I mean, e5 is very tempting at this point, because if he takes, I go takes, and I have bishop c5 and actually win the exchange after that. But if he doesn't take it, then his pawn would be taken and his e4 pawn would be under fire. So okay, he maybe is going for this thinking he has some positional compensation, but I have a feeling it's more likely he just blundered it. I can just play it very, very solid after that. So queen f3, I'm actually thinking I'm going to play knight f8 first, and wait for him to play a move like king h trying to break the pin and then take. Because if I take too soon, he might have some like queen g5 and some knight d6 forks I want to avoid. So knight f8 just kind of limits his options a little bit by comparison. So king h1 here, now I'm going to take. And then I'm going to play rook to e6. So queen g5, I go knight g6 and just cover it. But yeah, he could play knight d5 and he still has a little bit of compensation, but I don't think it's enough. I mean, I could even just ignore it with a move like knight g6, which does cover e7, and you know, I can prepare knight d5 at some point. Also, now knight d6 also kind of makes moves like queen a2 now an idea. That is a bit of a threat. Maybe it wasn't such a big threat, because he could have gone queen c3 maybe and tried to trap the queen, but anyway, we're here now. I'm going to take this position, because ed5 I think just rook e8, or even rook f6 is kind of interesting. But I don't know, rook e8 is sort of more natural, but rook f6 just looks sort of fun to be able to play such a move, to creatively lift the rook like this into the game without needing a pawn break. Because normally you need to sort of exchange pawns to open lines for the rooks, but I guess this might be a possible exception to that. Another idea also is I could try to play some queen b6, because I was thinking of doing it after rook f1, which is the move I expected. But, oh, he has bishop e5, this is his threat. So I'm going to play rook to e8 and cover it, but he's got h4, and suddenly he's getting a whole lot of counterplay, to the point where I might actually have to sacrifice the exchange back again, which was not the reason why I played this. In knight 6, I don't think really threatens anything after king h8, unless knight g4. Yeah, he can play knight g4, and he will win back a pawn. So just playing is so bad. Like, I was up in exchange for absolutely nothing, and yeah, I find a way to suddenly probably not even be better anymore. So I don't really have a good square for this rook either. I mean, I probably have to do something like rook d6, I think. And idea is after knight 5, I'm going to take, and I'm going to play f6. And in that way, I think that this works tactically. Yeah, because I'm hitting the queen and the bishop, and if queen h5, I go rook e5 and defend the rook while taking the bishop. And he doesn't really have anything he can do otherwise, as far as I can tell. If he plays a move like b4 at this point, I think I can even just play queen a3 and just keep all of the threats alive. So yeah, he plays b4. I just take it, queen takes a3, and you know, he can't play bishop f4. Also, queen takes, but I also have back rank mate there. I don't know. Keep offering a rematch out of habit, but I'm kind of hoping... Okay, so I play this player again. Let's go c4 one more time. But I'll try to play a little differently. Let's go knight f3, play Nimzovich Sicilian with an extra tempo, because normally Nimzovich knight f6 is in already, but with colours reversed. So e4 is obviously the critical move, grabbing the space. And if knight c6, I'm probably just going to take knight c3, queen c2 sort of things. Like, that's why I normally play Nimzovich with black, and like, there's only way the engine says that it's just a lot better for black, but at the same time, it's kind of tricky, and you know, I have very good results whenever I play it in Blitz, because you can't just play your normal setup and they have to figure out what to do. So you can see he's sort of wasting time moving the bishop, and this is a 200 level as well. So if takes, I have an interesting question which way I want to take back with. Considering the d pawns, I can go bishop g5 and try to pressure his pawn, but I could also just take with the queen as well. So maybe I play... I mean, g3 seems quite thematic, but I'm also thinking, can I play knight d5 and hit his pawn? It's tempting, but I think g3 is probably the better move. I'm just going to play this and pressure this guy. I can castle, play d3, and then my position will kind of make sense. So, anyway, I'll castle. Will he go d6? I mean, d6 is sort of a normal move, but he might also play c6, d5 if he wants to be somewhat more ambitious. So yeah, after d6, I mean... Well, now I think knight d5 makes a bit more sense. And the reason for that is because now I have moves like a3 in the mix, and I can try to pick up his bishop pair and get the bishop pair advantage for myself. That being said, that structure after cd5 actually is probably okay for him. And after a3, he also has to move a4 because there's this ab4, ab3 trick. Part of me is even considering whether to sack the queen, but I think knight d4 is the better move. But it does make my previous play look really quite bad now. Like, black's position is very, very comfortable because I have these double pawns and my queenside structure is fixed. So he kind of got everything he really wants here. Now, I could play a move like... Oh, I was thinking d4, but he goes this weird rook a5. And he's like, I don't want to play knight c3 anyway, because I hit this, and now I also hit the a4 pawn. So rook a5 was, I think, a mistake, and now I win the pawn. So bishop f5. You can't play bishop f5, because he is threatening e... I know he's not threatening e3, because bishop is undefended. So it all works out for me. I win the pawn. And I mean, I'm also threatening b4 now because of the fact that he doesn't have en passant anymore. Actually, it turns out technically he can take rook a4, but I mean, I'm still going to be much, much better because I can just play e3 and win the pawn anyway. And, you know, I'm going to be a pawn up after that and also have the bishop pair advantage. Check like the comments in a while because, well, I just assume you guys were never going to comment in your lifetime, but I guess I can check it to see for sure. Alright, so he plays h5. I mean, I think I'm just going to take it because his pawn is kind of a dead man walking anyway, like we see here. And I mean, it's hardly anyone actually watching, so I'm somewhat tempted maybe even to play like a bit of 4-player chess after this because, well, it's probably what I would do. Or maybe what I'd do is like I can take a maybe a short 5-minute break after this game and then play some 4-player chess after that. Go on the basis of, well, if hardly anyone's watching, then we may as well just do what I would normally do if I wasn't streaming anyway. That's kind of my thinking. Now, rook e4 just seems like a bluff. I just take queen f3 and I don't really see the follow-up to the attack. I can play like d4 if I want to kick the bishop, but I'm going to kick it this way so that I can keep the long diagonal open and also not make my pawn on e3 a glaring weakness. Bishop e2, he does have maybe queen c2 in that case, so maybe I want to kick his knight first when move like h3, kick it to f6 and then go bishop e2. But then knight e4 is actually a fork. Okay, goes knight to e5. I'll keep my pawn protected. Knight d3 is actually kind of annoying. The knight's are a very good outpost, and I probably just have to kind of consolidate here. Something like king h2. Yeah, he's still trying to attack me. Maybe rook a2 to prepare bishop b2 then. Because, I mean, the rook might look nice, but I don't think I really see a follow-up at this stage. If I just play bishop b2 and just develop normally. Because knight looks nice, but I can sort of play around it to some extent. And again, it's a position where, I mean, time is sort of the main enemy for black, because even if black was winning this position, she would just lose on time at this point. So queen h7, yeah, there's bishop c3, there's still no follow-up. I mean, here I could even play like... Well, I mean, this is sort of interesting. They're trying to get the bishop in the attack, and... Well, I maybe haven't defended in the very best way, but I think if I play like e4, this should be good enough. Because I also kind of sidelines the knight a little bit. Yeah, I mean, maybe I should just push the pawns and just queen them at this point, because if black has no threat, then queen the pawns just wins. And if d4, I just take... Okay, now the ending is pretty straightforward. Just keep pushing and just keep pushing, just keep pushing. And yeah, they resigned like just before they're about to flag. Okay, I'm going to take a short break, but before I do, I am going to set up a little bit of a puzzle. Like, I'm just so hungry, like I just can't wait any longer. So what I'll do is I'll go to puzzles. I'm going to up an unrated puzzle that you can solve while I'm waiting. So I'm going to go custom. Let's make it like a difficult one, like 2400 to 9999 rating. So yeah, there's this puzzle here, and I will be back in 1 minute enjoying some food. So I will see you guys then. Okay, welcome back everyone. I actually realized I didn't see before that I need to change my scene so that you can see it in the puzzles format. Just bear with me a sec as I do that. I think this is the right one. Yeah, there we go, but for some reason it it looks really weird. Just bear with me a moment, I'm just going to change it a little bit as I've had the filters out already, but maybe not. Maybe this one is better. I'm gonna test this to see if I have it set already for this or not. Okay, that looks a lot better now. Okay, so this is a pawn end game, and yeah, let's see. I actually have to think about it to figure out what the move is. I was going to turn off the video of me because I'm going to be eating something, and I don't want to make you guys hungry, but I'll still be talking and sharing my thoughts on the position. So, okay, white is clearly up a pawn in this position, and I mean, the point, I guess, is that if you play king e4, they go king c4, d5, king c5, and suddenly you lose all your extra pawns and kind of lose the game. So I think on a process of elimination, it has to be some move like h4 at this point. But what's the point if they play king b5 after that? I don't just want to guess, I want to actually try to figure out what the move is, even though it's an unrated puzzle. So maybe the idea is you go... I don't know, the king has moved back and forth, unless one of these sort of white to play and draw puzzles. It only says white to move, it doesn't say who's actually winning. I mean, my first thought was that it must be something like h4, king b5, g5. With the idea to go hg5, h5, and queen the pawn. But I don't know what the follow-up is if they play f takes g5 after that. Yeah, this is a really weird puzzle. I feel like I should be seeing the answer already, but for some reason I'm not. Unless... Hang on, there is another idea I have, and that is that you play h4, king b5, but if king e4 goes king c6, but maybe I was thinking the idea is maybe go king e4, king c4, play h4. I mean, in that case, well, I guess they're maybe not forced to go king c4 either, but I mean, I could go king c3 maybe, but then d5, my pawn is too fast. If king e4, king b5. My idea is I want to try and support g5, that's kind of what I'm going for here. I think if I get that, I will be working, but I want to get the move order right. So king e4, king to c4, pawn to h4. I mean, black king has to move somewhere. Let's say king to b5 for argument's sake. We play king to... we play pawn d5, I think. They play something like king to c5. And, well, this is the point where I was thinking of playing king f4, king d5, and g5. But after hg5 to a check, and after hg5, fg5, king g5, king e5, it's just nothing. I mean, I could click a hint option, but I want to try and solve it organically without any help. I know what the crunching sound is because I have this lovely yogurt, lemon with coconut. It reminds me of when I was really young, eating these lemon meringue pies, and oh man, those lemon meringue pies are so delicious. That's when when I go back to to Australia, because I'm in Vietnam at the moment. That's one of the things I'm going to be eating. Oh, nice! We have some comments. Congratulations. So yeah, Pengok says white to move. You could break through. Why not king e4, king c4, d5? If they go back, yeah, we have d6. Yeah, actually, I think you're right. Yeah, I think that's the answer. I think I might have hallucinated before. So I think I'll go king e4. So d5, king c5 here. And yeah, he's sort of in a little bit of a zugzwang, I think, after that. So d5, h4. Yeah, no, so I got it right. So yeah, nice work. We end up solving it together in the end. But okay, let's see. I'm sort of tempted to maybe play some 4-player chess, because like I haven't done tested like on the stream yet, and I sort of feel like, okay, if there's only going to be a very small number of viewers regardless, and maybe I just, do what I would normally do anyway. But there's also a part of me that's like, maybe I should, I do want to get the top 3 in that Crystal League, because actually I still think I'm number 4 on it, if I check the standing. I should go back to the other scene now that I think of it. Back to just going to it in OBS Studio, because I have like a million scenes set up. But okay, this one is good. Put my video back, and okay, let's play some more Blitz. I'm ready to play. Like, once I get to some score, like, I don't know, maybe 2,600, actually 3,600 trophies, yeah, then I might decide to like do something a bit different, but I do want to secure that top 3 placement first. Yeah, I know I made like times feel like, will I win the Crystal League? And I think that I don't think I'm going to win it, because I think that the other guys at top 3 are going to be playing a lot as well to keep their position, but I'm going to give it my best attempt at least. Okay, I'll take, and yeah, I might play d6, just haven't played this move much before, but actually it's not that good because I can just go c4 and play back from Roch. But okay, he's right at 800, so I don't think he's going to do this. So yeah, let's play knight to f6, transpose back to classical Sicilian. Actually, there's other moves like e5, which would have been a kind of creative attempt, playing sort of a Sveshnikov/Kalashnikov sort of hybrid there. The bishop c4 to c6, just block in the bishop. And I mean, if bishop b3, I can play like bishop e7, just develop normally. But the guy seems to keep disconnecting. That's kind of fun. And yeah, maybe it's at bedtime now. See ya. Yeah, I'll see you later. Okay, bishop b3, I'll go here. Yeah, I think this game is going to be decided by him disconnecting at some point. But we'll see. Bishop b3, yeah, it's his castle. Play the normal moves. Yeah, he's trying to play something like a Velimirovich attack, but you want to put the queen on e2 instead to support g4. Because in his version, you're going to kind of need f3 to prepare it, or rook g1, and it's just a lot slower than if the queen's already in position. But okay, he's playing in the right spirit, trying to make it aggressive. But now it's just kind of like a poor man's English attack. So let's go a6, e5 or something. Yeah, well, normal moves. I probably misplayed this a little bit. I feel like I probably could have got more from the position, but okay, I go rook b8, and now I get to open up the position a bit. So, expecting knight c6, bishop c6. Okay, really, I want to... I still haven't quite know how to kind of get the people like who normally follow me otherwise to like sort of get on this stream, even though I have the stream schedule. Maybe it's something that just takes a fair bit of time, or maybe like most people are just happy to watch the recording, because most of the views do seem to be from people like watching the recording, not not watching it live as such. So okay, choice, trying to open it up. Maybe I just go queen c7, knight c4, because at least compared to a normal English attack, he's wasted a fair bit of time moving this bishop twice, and yeah, now c3 kind of almost incentivized me more to play knight c4, but I'm going to go a5 and use it as a hook and open him up first. Okay, once my knight's attacked, then I will go for it. Okay, I did miss the move knight e4, but okay, maybe it wasn't working after queen c2, hitting both the knights. So this kind of works out. I mean, normally you don't play bc4, because the b file doesn't really give you a mate by itself normally in Open Sicilian. But yeah, maybe it would have made some sense when he played a3 and c3 already. But okay, that's what I went for, and now he just blunders a whole bunch of pawns. So knight e4, I can play ef5. Once he moves his queen away, if he does see the attack. And he does see it, but okay, now I can just take, and I mean, I'm up 2 pawns, I have the bishop pair, and therefore it's winning. Yeah, at some point I should look a bit more what some other streamers are doing, like on Twitch as well, because obviously there are some people who are making a very good living out of streaming chess on Twitch. Obviously my aim is to do this, but on Facebook gaming instead, a lot less competition. That's why I'm here for you guys, but it does seem like Facebook gaming's nascent in a way that it definitely has not got the same level of market share as Twitch so far. But kind of hoping that it'll sort of like explode in the near future, just because Facebook is behind it. But yeah, it may have been one of these things like it just sort of is a flash in the pan and just doesn't really get a big following. Then again, the fact that there are, people who are like streaming on this platform making a great living does suggest me that there is possible to do it, and I shouldn't get discouraged just because my initial results maybe are not as good as I had hoped as such. So okay, now whichever way he takes, I mean, okay, he decided not to take, which is kind of perplexing. I mean, if he took with a rook, I would take his bishop. If he took with a bishop, I'd take the knight. And if he take with a king, I would have taken this pawn. And now he even gives me the knight with check, which is pretty kind of him. King d1, let's just keep everything nice and protected. I mean, if the rook moves along this way, I have rook d2 mate, but he loses on time instead. Let's find another opponent to play. Okay, I'm close to I think that means I'm somewhat close to the... I'm going to check like on another window like what the top 3 is as I pre-move e6. So what kind of update standings are for the Crystal League as such. I'm going to have a French defense. Usually at this level I play like exchange variation, but he decides to go for the advance. I'm going to plan just to pressure the pawn on d4. Normally after I go queen to b6, so I'm going to play bishop d7. Do something a little bit different this time. And I know bishop b7 you also can sometimes play like f6 and hit the center that way. Okay, now I'm going to take and play like queen b6 and, you know, just attack the pawn. Actually, there's this modern gambit where nowadays strong players normally castle and wait for you to take so that then I get to a better square. But this old version is just very nice. Yeah, bishop c2 now, knight b4, and unfortunately you kind of lose the initiative if you try to keep your good bishop, but if you let that bishop get traded for a knight, black just has a very nice position. Like, in these structures, you really need this bishop for the most part to get able to attack on the king side later, and, I mean, it's just all... The moves just play themselves very naturally, like knight f5, bishop e7, castles. And, no, that's one reason why probably the bishop should have gone to e3 instead of d2 here, and, okay, he admits a mistake. So bishop e7, castle, I mean, f6 is also a plan. I mean, because I have the bishop here, I don't even need to play a move like f6. I could also play like just on the queen side instead, for example. And queen a5 is a slightly tricky move because it does half threaten like queen a2, knight a2, and rook c2 kind of tactics potentially. We can get quite sharp if we go for that. Okay, so what did he play? a3? Well, he's just giving me... bishop a3 has rook a1. But I can go b5 and I can still open up the queen side in my favor. It makes sense that, you know, my pawn chain's pointing this way, so it's logical for me to play on this side of the board. Whereas white normally he would want to play on the king side more because that's where his pawn chain's pointing. There are a whole bunch of exceptions to this rule, but I find it, or this principle I should say, but I still think it's a somewhat useful one if you're really stuck in a position. So, okay, we have knight here. Let's just do some trades, swap some pieces off. And I mean, I'm up a pawn and, well, my pawn's just going to roll down the board after he takes. So something like this. Also, knights play a5 because bishop d2, a5 stops him going bishop b4 and trying to win the exchange there. Plays rook d3. Let's just go... I could even go rook c3 if I want to. That looks quite active, so let's play that. Okay, let's just double up on this file. Okay, I blundered rook to a2 unfortunately, but okay, he did not see the move. Which gives me a second chance to play like the queen to some safe square. Maybe I'll play a5 or rook b3. I don't know. Even rook f3 is kind of interesting. Yeah, I'll go rook f3 actually. The idea of this is that now he's very weak on the light squares. So it means if I can get like bishop h3, I could very easily be giving mate. So bishop g3, can I go knight h4? That looks like a really beautiful idea. Threatening mate, and if he takes, I go bishop h3, and you see the power of attacking when you have opposite colored bishops. Yeah, he just misses mate, but he was already lost. Let's find another opponent to play against. Yeah, I made 3 mistakes, not really a great showing by me. Yeah, playing an 1100 rated guy. Let's go g6. I remember I played a whole bunch of e4, e5 games like before this stream when I was playing, trying to build up my points. Because kind of like, even if I play like all games like to my stream show, like play let's say 18 hours of chess, like I still don't know if it would give me enough points to get first on the Crystal leaderboard. You know, if I get to like Elite, which is the next one up from Crystal, like that's going to be kind of fun because, well, it's going to be like quite even more points. Like I might need like 4,000 points or 5,000 points or something crazy in order to get like a top 3 placing there. He should have gone e5. That's probably why knight f6 wasn't the best move. But now it just works out perfectly for me. Like the bishops are raking the board, like they're controlling the center from afar, and it means I'm just able to win his pawn because he didn't defend it adequately. Although I even find like he had some problems trying to defend it if he didn't play like e5 or something at a good moment. So okay, let's just swap, maybe king to c8. Because king c7, he might go knight d5, and I kind of want to avoid that, even though it's really nothing. Okay, so I'm up a pawn. I've got some nice music playing, and, you know, life is good. If a4, I could even play bishop c2 and fork, or just play bishop c6 and keep the position as is. So, what do you guys think? Think I should change the song, or do you think I should keep it? Well, it's not like anyone's watching this live anyway, so maybe I will just do whatever the heck I want. Okay, let's go bishop c6. Yeah, nobody is watching, so yeah, let's just make it. Let's do the hip-hop beat. This is what you get for nobody watching. I start playing like different genres, and if you hate it, I don't care. Man, this is so... I mean, it's not music I normally listen to, more kind of like rap music or alternative rock. I listen to a lot of alternative rock. Okay, let's go king c5, prepare b4. See, already like the beat has changed. Like, you're already feeling more energy here. Okay, bishop f6 hit this weakness. Like, there's like meant to be like a freestyle. Yeah, I think it's meant to be like a sort of pop beat, like where you can kind of like freestyle to it. But yeah, because actually, okay, rap is pretty decent, but I'm not going to do it on this stream here. I might save it like for a special occasion, like maybe when I get a certain number of followers or a certain number of stars, I can like do some sort of rap to celebrate. Anyway, yeah, so he resigns. Let's play another game. Maybe I'll offer a rematch because I'm not getting another game quickly with the Sikh. So I really want to play b3 a lot today. Do I play hippo? Yeah, let's play hippo just for laughs. So the hippo is where you just go for a double fianchetto. You play like d3, knight e2, e3, knight e2, and you say, "You shall not pass," which was actually the name of one of my previous opponents yesterday. So, okay, d3, knight d2. You know, I can even play kind of creatively, like e4 and play a little more aggressive. I think I'm going to do that. Remember I saw some, like, GM game where they did this kind of thing. Yeah, 97 is very passive because now it's going to be hard for you to get your bishop out. Go knight 3, attack him this way, play creative. Yeah, f6, knight f4, and I want to attack him. Just want to make some attack happen. Queen e2, long castle, knight c4, this kind of stuff. Now my knight looks a bit weird on d3. But I can go f4 and I can rip him open that way. But knight d4 is a good move. I kind of saw it coming actually, but only when it was a bit too late to stop it. The other thing, like, you know, when you sort of play like low-rated players, like, you know, they kind of like say, "Oh, I know you would do that." Like, I know you would do that. And sometimes like they say, even like for a move where you just take their free piece. It's kind of funny when it happens because, like, well, if you know I was going to do that, then like, why didn't you stop it? But it's because I like didn't see it until, you know, after they made their move. But it's still kind of funny when that happens. One of the fun parts of playing relatively low-rated players, I guess. Okay, so what will I do? Maybe rook c1, maybe a4, a5. I don't know, like my position is just... It's good, but I mean, it's just going to take some time to win it, you know. Unless he blunders something like f5 or something crazy. Okay, so h5 is trying to do a little pawn storm on me. I don't know why I'm allowing knight d4 a second time. Just crazy. Crazy chess. That would actually make a fun tile for a song, Crazy Chess. If he goes knight g6, maybe this is the idea. Try knight g6 and jump a knight at f4, maybe. That would be a little bit annoying. Let's go queen f2. Threaten a cheapo, see if he sees a long-range attack or not. He probably will. Like king b8 or something to defend. But he doesn't see it. Okay, we'll take. Takey, takey. I mean, the plan is to maybe move the queen back, a4, a5, a6, and, you know, he doesn't have any real active play, because my pieces are, my pawns are taking a lot of squares from his pieces, like you can see, and, I mean, you know, he just doesn't really have a good pawn break either, and if g5, I can just take this way. So, how are you guys doing? Maybe I can also, like, tell those who are watching this replay on YouTube, maybe I can ask, like, you know, what is your, what's been your favorite game or what's been your favorite move? I know, I should probably come with some better questions, but maybe it's something like you ask a question, like it doesn't matter because no one will answer it anyway. Like my comment streams lately has been very quiet lately. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not really like talking about doing like different gossip or different controversy. I mean, yeah, maybe it's true, like I could in theory, you know, just like all the time when like Chess Bay like I got a completely hungry power trip, but it's just not, this sort of gossip just doesn't interest me that much, quite frankly. So anyway, bishop h3. Like I try to focus a bit more on improvement and Maybe I get less views than if I just get into all the drama, but it's the approach I've chosen to take, for better or for worse. So the idea of a6 is not just to trade the pawn, but I can also go like rook a7 and attack like this. But actually, I also missed. He can just play bishop b6 and block the pin. So yeah, this was a mistake, but luckily it all works out anyway. One funny threat was actually I can go a7 and queen the pawn. That would be really nice. Maybe I'll just do that anyway. He can take 2 of my pieces, but it doesn't matter when I get a full queen next move. Alright, let's play again. Maybe... Well, now I won't offer a rematch because like he lost on time. Like it took 4 minutes to win, even though the game was like 25 moves. Okay, I can... So I got a 12. I played this guy before, I remember. So another knight f3. Let's play c3 just for the sake of it. And I'm going to transition back to a d4 opening, play London. I mean, normally I play London, I go knight d2 before c3 because otherwise these subs can be annoying, but here it's all well and good. I mean, h6 is pretty wasteful, and now bishop b5. Already sets a little trap, which he doesn't fall for. I was going for knight d7, bishop c6, winning the rook. But okay, now his bishop is on d7 rather than where he wanted to go to b7. And c4 is also a very typical mistake, just letting me go for a move like e4 and just play in the center to my advantage. Actually, if he takes, I could even consider... I was considering like trying to play take this guy somehow, but okay, now I just get a good French. Let's play h4, sack the pawn, but get a good attack for it. Can I go queen b1? Then you can go f5 maybe. Okay, I'm just going to take it. You know what, let's just play solid. I missed queen b1 winning a piece. I thought he would take with a knight, that's why I played bishop g3 without thinking. And yeah, now he's in time to go knight f6 and bring the knight back to a decent square. Now, fortunately, I'm still a lot better in this position, but yeah, I'm not playing it that great, I think. And I should probably just play knight e5. I thought he had knight h5 in reply for some reason, but he actually doesn't because my queen covers it. And he doesn't see that, so I just win a free piece. Win a piece, win a pago, whatever. Yeah, and he resigns. Let's play him again. Because that game took like a bit over a minute. Let's go d5. e3, let's play knight f6. Do I go e6 maybe for some variety? Yeah, if against c4 I'll play e6. Knight c3, I don't know, just c6 I can play, even just transpose semi-Slav. Normally I'd go like a6 and go a bit more aggressive, but okay, c6 is still back to normal openings. I mean, it's still just an excuse trying to get more semi-Slavs in, because it's been a little bit of time since I played this opening much. You might have to collate this with an extra tempo. Castles, knight e4, f5, etc. Yeah, this song really makes me kind of want to start singing, but I'm resisting the temptation. Now, nice point if he does take, I get a really nice pawn. It forces knight to a bad square and also, you know, gives me more space to work with. Now, h3 is kind of asking for g5, g4, just ripping open his king. I'm wondering if I can even do it immediately. You know what, let's just do it, I don't care. It's probably a blunder because bishop e4, but yeah, this is why I was going for it. I can do some sort of trick like rook f2, bishop h2 in some order. The question is what's the best move order, and I think this is going to be the way. Queen h4, play knight takes f2, and I threaten queen h1 mate. I was going to test something. What if I right click? So if I does it show up on your game? I don't think it does. Okay, that's good to know. Oh, knight 2, he allowed me mate in 1. Okay, let's play another one. I'll play same guy again. Go e4. Oh, the track ended. I was wondering when that was going to happen. Let's play accelerated Grand Prix attack, because normally I've been playing with knight c3 and then f4. So I'll do a little more creatively this time and try to do without this knight c3 move. And see what happens. I'm an idiot, I missed bishop f7 and knight g5. That's like very bad not to see that. It's like, you know, I normally like a 1200 would see that with white, so... Yeah, unfortunately I'm still better anyway because of the bishop pair, but man, I'm annoyed at not seeing that. And I blunder knight e5 like a beginner. Man, I'm playing so terribly this game. Okay, I get out of it. Let's go d5. Just so many mistakes on my part. I don't really care if he takes twice, because yeah, I would just open up his king, but d5 is a little bit annoying maybe. Could go c4 and... Actually, I don't know if c4 is as good as it looks, because... Well, I mean, after this... Yeah, DC4, I don't think this is the right way to play. Should have gone D4, knight E4 or something. So yeah, now he's just opening up the position for my bishop pair. Bishop G5, go F6, and the bishop will end up trapped on H8. And that will be winning because, I'm up a pawn as well by now. So knight E5, he's trying to counterattack. I think I just want to keep the tension. Because, well, not like he has a really great move in this position as far as I can see. Queen E6 is knight D2 and the pieces just flood in. Like, it's one reason systems like the Grand Prix attack do work pretty well at a club level is because, well, the move's just so easy for white to play. Like, these plans are very straightforward to execute. Like, I remember, like, I was playing Blitz on chess.com yesterday. I had this game against guy rated, like, over 300 points below me. I was just kind of warming up. My first raid Blitz game in a long time. I just, like, play like and had a dead loss position, like 12 moves against the Grand Prix. So I guess it can happen to me, even with me playing, like, the worst chess in my life, then it can maybe work against your opponents as well. So we have a rematch for this showdown. Knight C6. Yeah, sometimes I play this move just like to avoid Fury. And it's not a great move because D5, E4 and white's just a lot better. But it's sort of a move like if your opponent doesn't know the Fury, then it can sort of end up being okay. Now C4 is a very weird move compared to just playing E4. And it allows me to set a very nice trap with move E5. Because if it takes, my idea is not to take back, but to play Queen H4 and actually grab the C4 pawn. And this would be even better, by the way, if he had a pawn on E4 instead, and we see that he just fell into it, which is good for us. Actually, to be honest, knight E5 was probably a better move, actually, because he ends up getting this kind of strong center after knight F3. Kind of a weird position. I guess that's to be expected when you start with knight to C6 on move 1. But okay, now I can even play like Queen E4 and just pick up this guy. Go knight takes E5, maybe bishop B4 at some point. Let's go knight E6, just develop a bit. Knight C3 I'm just going to take. Oh, I missed knight D3. I should have done a move earlier. And it's still up a pawn, but yeah, I'm again making some kind of basic mistakes in this game. Now E4, yeah, I'm just going to play bishop C5, D6, just have a nice, healthy, active position here. I'm just going to castle. I do have to be careful though. Bishop F4, I want to play Queen D4. Because Queen 7, Bishop G5 would have been a very unpleasant pin. So I'm going to play A6 to avoid any knight B5. Queen B4. You do actually have any... You don't have any viewers. I know it's because of the music or just because everyone's asleep. I don't know. I mean... Well, we'll see what happens in this game anyway. Maybe just rook E8. I mean, this one I'm really only just doing it for the YouTube viewers. It's not fun, like, even with YouTube as well, like, the sort of percentage of people who actually watch the full video is very, very low. So it's sometimes a little bit discouraging, like, to put all this time, like, creating this content and really, trying to help players improve, and then, like, hardly anyone actually watches the whole thing. What do you do? I mean, I guess, like, if you have such a big volume, like, if you have, like, 1 million people watching a video, then, like, it doesn't matter, because, like, even if only, like, 0.1%, watch it, like, still, like, quick math, 1,000 people who have watched the full thing. So, like, you still helped a lot of people, but, yeah, this is sort of, one it's kind of, most times discouraged me in the past. Like, I think, okay, no one is watching this any way, so, why do I bother? But in a way, like, it's kind of, yeah, that's not really, like, the full story in a sense, I mean, obviously, like, if you guys are listening to this and you hear me say this, then it's probably a good moment to say something in comments saying, I hear you, Max, I'm still here, I'm staying loyal. And unfortunately, White's piece didn't stay loyal because they just blundered the queen. Okay, because normally, like, sometimes you have a longer stream, you actually get more viewers as time goes on, but this one doesn't seem to be the case, and I just don't know why. Oh, I just mouse slipped this. So I go from, like, having force mate into, and because of a mouse slip now, I only have, like, what, 3 extra pawns? I already lost count, yeah, 3 extra pawns. Man, so annoying. Didn't even see. Okay, but at least I can take this. For a second, if I just blunder pawn completely for free, which would have been very, very sad. I have to be a little bit careful he doesn't go for some rook f7, knight f6, but I've got e4 to cover it, which is still not ideal though. I mean, he gets his pawn and too many pawns are getting traded. Let's play rook d8, just play it safe. It's not that I mind not playing e4 like right now just to do this, and now the move rook d8 was useful because it stops this checkmate with this. Oh, we just blundered a rook. Well, it's a little bit off topic, but I'm actually thinking of watching like the Crimes of Grindelwald film. It's kind of funny because it got like so many terrible reviews, but I'm watching this video by Movie Flame. You're like my one guy like I follow for Harry Potter fandom stuff. And he actually thought it was like a pretty good film, so I might actually check it out and then make up my own mind on whether like the other reviewers are correct or it's actually a pretty good film. But I have a feeling I might kind of enjoy it because I'm like a little bit of a Harry Potter fan. Not like super fan, but it's definitely some sort of fan. Because I've watched the movies like, 3 times already, I think. Maybe more. I might have watched it 4 times. I've kind of lost track, like all of the different Harry Potter films. I bought the book The Cursed Child, but it's kind of weird because like it's meant to be canon, but the thing is that like there are so many like discrepancies between it and between the like the 7 Harry Potter films, like it just feels kind of weird in a way. But okay, I'm kind of going a little bit off topic because, well, there's no one watching and, well, just going on. Actually, I probably should have gone Rook B1 in this plan, but for some reason, like, I played the Pillsbury plan, like, Rookie 195 F4 a lot as a junior. So even in, like, nowadays, I still have this sentimental attachment to this 95 F4 plan. Might also be a reason why I do very well Bishop D2 against the Nimzo and Rogozin, because you kind of go for a similar thing there. So okay, he's hoovering off some pieces, but now G4 is kind of a move I want to play anyway, because it gives me some space and I can prepare like Queen G2, G5 and use that H6 pawn as a hook, which is one reason why H6 earlier was probably not the most accurate, even if I didn't really play it the right way afterwards. Can I go F5? Okay, it's not winning a piece because 95, so let's just develop everything first and then we make our move. I'll take with the F pawn. I mean, D-Tech's actually is a lot better. I was just winning a piece. But okay, he mouse slipped and he just loses a piece now. He probably resigns. Okay, he doesn't resign. Let's go Queen to G2. I would say to play H4, but actually Queen G2 doesn't really do anything. Because H4 he can still maybe take. On the other hand, I kind of want him to open up the king side for me. So let's do this. Bishop F5 or whatever. Maybe I'll take first, then Bishop F5. And actually, I had Queen H3, I could have forced mate. Okay, this is probably still forcing mate anyway. Not such a big blunder. I mean, I guess you can play moves like Rook E6 and sack the rook, but that's going to be clearly quite hopeless. And then I'm just going to ignore it, just Queen H3, and I actually think I can pre-move Queen H8 mate, because the only way you can really postpone is sacking the queen and really hastens the end. Okay, so this game was somewhat quick. I've already lost count of how many points I have on the Crystal League, and I think I forgot to check it beforehand, but I can definitely do that now. How many points have I got? Okay, I'm number 3 now. I think it came up actually on this game, but I just didn't see it because I was like clicking a rematch so fast. Yeah, I played Knight C6 quite a lot, but maybe I can try play a little different, like Queen A5. It's not a very good move, but it's all like slightly tricky if they, in a bullet game, like they might pre-move something and... Okay, now after this it sort of will make sense, because, well, I mean, I go E5 and just get a very healthy position with this space. So I guess my surprise move worked out in this case. Actually, there's also this weird move like H5, the Dirty Harry, which is complete bogus, but there are a few GMs who played in just to surprise the opponent. So I'm in position number 3, but I want to really secure it. Like, I want to make sure I get there, because if I stop too soon, some guy might suddenly say, oh, I'm not in number 3 anymore, so I'll play some games and beat me to the post. Pimp me to the post, rather. So, okay, I might go Knight G4, Bishop F6, just maneuver the pieces, and I'm sort of choosing intentionally not to castle yet, because I kind of want to take some of the sting out of this coming attack and then castle. Like now if Queen G3 castles, like now it makes sense I think to do this, because I mean he doesn't really have the space to make an attack happen. And A5 as well and just try to loosen up the position here. Maybe C5 was actually better, but I can do it next move after C3 for instance. Because you don't really want to play BA5 I think, because then your pawns are going to be a bit weak on the queen side. Now, I mean, it's going to more or less, I think, force some kind of good exchanges for me. Because now I can actually just grab a pawn. Like Rook B4, win a pawn. Life is good. I'm going to play G6 just to kill the knight. Then try some Queen E7. And yeah, this is overextending a bit for white. It's after King G1, I'll have Bishop C5. And suddenly that will just be lost for white. And yeah, he obviously doesn't see it. I can pre-move this. And I mean, even just a move like Rook to A8 and, Rook A2 or Rook A1 will very quickly end the proceedings. Yeah, it's Rook A1, Rook A2. I can pre-move this and he's dead. He's dead, Jim. Alright, let's get in another game. I'm hungry to play some more. Will I play Elo Bandit? Yes, I got another game with Elo Bandit. C4, let's play B3. I mean, normally don't play this move because it's not really as common or as good, but, you know, I'm going to end up getting back to familiar territory with d4. I tried this against this guy before, I remember, but it might play it a little bit different. Okay, he takes again. He doesn't play c5 again, though, so he's learning his lesson a bit, but remember last time, I made the mistake of trying to play too solidly. This time I'm just going to go for the attack. And I can see he's doing the same, a5, a4 stuff, which in blitz, is sort of a good idea to try to open up the lines to the king. So knight d5, already I'm threatening some big threats. But he has bishop g6 and I have nothing. Man, that's so annoying. But he blundered into knight takes f6. I think that's the best way to do it, because I have the pin on the g file, so I win a piece. So all's well that ends well. Bishop takes. And okay, now he's just giving me mate. That was a quick game. Let's play this guy again. He's losing him quite quickly because he's playing very fast. So let's play fast as well. Let's do this. Alikan playing Zialikan. c4. You should play e6 and he's better, but instead he blunders this. Well, yeah, after d5 actually it's not that bad for him in fairness. I kind of have to go knight b8, and I mean white's still better because I played a rubbish opening. But with e6 I can at least try to get playable position by castling. Let's see if there's anyone actually watching this. I'm willing to bet probably no. Let's see if my bet is right. There's no one watching live. I think it's been for a while, just no live viewers. Don't happen did the sound die or something? Okay, what I'll do is I'm going to change the track. And if it's because of the track, if I get a ton of viewers right afterwards, and I know that probably because of the track, which is good to know. And if not, well, at least I can still enjoy this. Because he actually had another guy's... Oh! I think I figured out why. I think it's because, there are quite a few other, bigger streamers, on Twitch Gaming streaming at the same time. And I think because of that, it means that everyone's watching them and no one is here. Because they come up before me. Probably that's the reason why. Not that I like aiming against them, but yeah, it's, definitely makes it hard for me to start out. But okay, queen here. Go bishop here. I mean, actually, the fact that there are hardly any viewers for chess does make me wonder, should I, get in a stream some other games? But yeah, just... I don't know, I feel like if I do it, even though it's tempting, on the other hand, it's also, well, the people I'm watching, I was people might not be as willing to, follow it if there's, lots of other ones as well. I don't know. But anyway, I think, focusing on chess probably is the better approach. That's my gut feeling. And usually my gut feeling is right. Okay, so rook d1, just such a boring position. Just very symmetrical. But my pieces are a little bit more active at least. Let's go bishop g4. Try to threaten bishop f3 and win the knight. I mean, the pin is sort of one way to create some pressure. Probably his best move is bishop e2, and I don't know, maybe I just go maybe h5 or something. Really short of a good idea. But okay, now it all makes sense. Now I've got this, and you know, he can... Okay, he's blundered, mate. That makes my life easier. Let's play him again. That was a good game. Go e4. Let's play d3. I'm going to play... Been playing a few kings in the attacks lately just to kind of get more games from in the database. Now, knight c6 is a pretty decent move. Trying to switch back to some e5 and play it like this. Okay, I'll go b4 like Carlsen did against Caruana 9 years ago. I actually thought he blundered there because, yeah, I thought he could... I would have d4, e5, but actually can meet it with knight e5, and this position is not so bad. Let's take, make a position a little more interesting. It's probably not objectively a very good way to play though, because now he's kind of just ahead in development, and my position doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So yeah, already getting a little bit jaded with this stream. No, if you're actually commenting or watching, it definitely makes it more interesting for me as well. Yeah, he's hitting his pawn, just playing so badly this game. Playing so terrible. And yeah, already forced into some concessions. But okay, let's make the best of it. The castle. I mean, how long do I have until stream? I think the Crystal League finishes 2 PM my time, so you have about 3 more hours of this. Okay, knight c4. I kind of actually want to start streaming it at about 7, but the thing is I kind of realized it doesn't work that well, or it didn't work well daily, because you know my wife needs to use a computer from 7 to 8:30. So yeah, that's why I set the stream this time. It didn't start earlier. But I can see like we're getting close to the 2-hour mark. And I did say I was going to kind of stop the stream. But I don't think I'm going to stop stream permanently. Just take like a short break and then maybe come back and continue on. Because I meant to do like a longer stream. Well, at least I plan to do like a longer stream on the weekends. That's the idea at the moment. But we'll see how it goes. Because think about actually like for the US, it's still, Sunday for you guys. So, I could even make a stream like on that sort of logic. Anyway, so talking back to the position, I mean, Black is doing quite well. He's got the grip, but now he blundered a pawn, and that shifts the game in my favor then. Yeah, I'll accept the friend request. Man, I might need to actually run after this game, actually. Okay, so I'm still here, but I just, turned off the video. Because, yeah. G3 you can take all the time. Maybe I just go F3, just give back the pawn, but give it back on my terms. And I can try to go for some, bishop F1 and push my pawns forward or something. Okay, let's go bishop F1. I mouse slips. But actually king F1 is not a terrible mouse slip, to be fair. I can still, play my plan like bishop D3 like this. Okay, so... yeah, I mean, I'm just going to push my pass. Yeah, knight 4 is an annoying move. I had a feeling he might try this. Unless I just give up the bishop pair, but maybe bishop C2, try to keep a bit more play in the position. But I mean, I think if I can trade off the rooks, that will definitely take away a lot of his counterplay here. So he goes rook E8. Okay, I'm going to swap the rooks. Let's just do it. And how do I follow up? Maybe C4, but then rook B2. So let's go bishop B3 first. And then play the move C4, so that he doesn't have this rook invading. Knight D3, I think I just go rook C3 and just cover it. Otherwise, I can... yeah, rook C3 looks good. Maybe he wants to go knight B4 or something. But the knight's feeling a little bit awkward all of a sudden. Maybe I can just go C5, take, and then go D5. And my connected pass pawns are really very strong in that case. I can even think about knight D4 E6, or just, push them up down the board. I mean, that problem is also his majority is really not that great here. I mean, it's not really helping him to create a passed pawn or anything, at least not in the near future. And he already has to play a really passive move like bishop B8 or A6 to not lose material. And yeah, now I just take with check. I take this guy and it's just winning. I do wish a guy would resign though, because I kind of have to do something actually. Okay, if I just pre-move everything, maybe he'll resign faster. I think, yeah, I thought he resigned fast before, but maybe I'm thinking of someone else. I'll probably go 8. Okay, let's just do this. Just keep control. Okay, now I can actually pre-move the moves to mate. Like this and this. Okay, I just need to do something quickly, so I'll just be right back. Okay, I'm back now. Yeah, I mean, near this stream, actually, like, I'm sort of, unfortunately, being a bit sick today, and feeling like in quite a bit of pain, actually, at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of stop this stream just a little bit early, and thanks you guys for watching it, and I will see you in the next one, where you can check my stream schedule to see it. So, alright, see you then, guys. Take care.